programs for PSP Petawawa Community Recreation. And that includes our before and after school club, our PA Day adventures, and our snow day program. So today I just want to give you a little bit more information about each of these programs to make sure that you are 100% prepared for when you and your child arrive to the program. So I'm just going to give you a little breakdown of what I'll be talking about. I'm going to go over the parent info package. That includes this video and the 4 documents that we sent you in the email. So please, if you have not yet opened up those documents, do so now before proceeding with the video. The next thing we'll talk about is the what, where, when of each of the programs I named. The next thing will be the safety guidelines and protocols that we've put in place related to COVID-19. Our expectations across the board for ourselves, for our staff, for you guys, and then contact information for any questions or concerns that you have. So those parent info packages. So those 4 documents, I'm just going to break them down so you know exactly how to use them. The first one is our community recreation. So please read through that thoroughly. We have added a point about COVID-19. Read it through, sign it, and then our preference would be to send it back via email. So either to Chrissy or to Michelle, email it back to them so we're not having any transfer of a physical document. However, if you're unable to send it back to us, it's fine if you print it, sign it, and then hand it in to us the day of your the first day of your program. The second document is what to bring. So please just review that thoroughly so the kids bring exactly what they need to. We broke it down into before and after school, and then PA days and snow days. And then the third and fourth document are kind of similar. So they are the 2-step COVID-19 screening process for our programs. The first one, document 3, is for the before and after school program, also known as BAS. And the 4th document is for our full day programs, which is our PA days and our snow days. Very slight differences there. I wanted to break them out so that there was 2 documents because of the different natures of those programs. So please look at the ones that apply to you, look at them both, so that you're familiar with exactly what we need to do. So just to provide some basic information, so our before and after school club, if you're not already completely aware, obviously you did have some screening, like interview conversations with either Christina Slaney or Michelle DeRoche, who are our program supervisors, but just to give you a little bit more of information about it, we're going to be doing a combination of socially distanced crafts, activities, games. We normally, I should say, have a breakfast and an afternoon snack that we provide to kids. I will say right now that we are not going to be doing that component of the program. With everything that's going on with COVID-19, we've decided that the safest thing right now is to not be preparing and serving food. However, we will revisit that as we go. So in that second document, the what to bring, we've asked you to actually bring breakfast. We've actually asked you to bring an afternoon snack if you're coming to those programs. So please pay attention to that. You can feed your kids obviously before they come to the program, but it tends to be pretty early. So just make sure that they have enough food for them for the day. So we've broken our registration, you probably noticed this, up into seasons. So rather than doing the entire year and having you guys book from September to June, we've actually broken it down into 3 seasons. So the first season, which you're registered for now, is September to December 2020. So we're trying this 3-season model. So come December, our second season will open for January to March, and then come March, April to June will open. More details about that, I know you guys are probably wondering, will everybody who's registered get carried over? We will release those details as we progress a little bit closer to December. Right now, we're just trying out this first season. Our before and after school club runs out of 2 locations, which you would know, you would have picked one or the other. So our first location is the Recreation Complex, which is on Festivaire Boulevard up on Base, just by the Canex. I'm actually in the building right now. And then the Southside Community Center is down on the south side by the Southside PMQs. It's actually a shared facility with the Petawawa Military Family Resource Center, and it's on Wolf Avenue. So our timings for the program have changed a little bit, so I wanted to note this. So the morning is the same. You can arrive 6:30 onwards, and then obviously the program ends when we take the kids to school or they get on the bus. And then our after school program is the end of the school day, but it's only going until 5 o'clock. Ages are school age kids, so our 3 to 12-year-olds is usually what our age group is. And then just a couple points about arrival and departure. So we have the same processes pretty much happening at the Recreation Complex and the Southside Community Center, so I'm not going to divide them out separately in terms of what you need to do. Basically, what you need to know is that you come to the front entrance of the building. So whenever you arrive in the morning, or if you're arriving in the afternoon to pick up your child, you're going to come to the front entrance of either the Recreation Complex or the Southside Community Center. When you get there, please line up in a socially distanced line. With the before and after school program, I doubt there's going to be huge lines because everybody comes at different times because you have a window to arrive and depart in. So if there is a line, just follow the line markers and make sure that you are staying socially distanced. There will be a doorbell there for you. It's not going to be your typical doorbell up right by the door like you would think. There are some issues there with fastening it to the wall and stuff like that, but we will make it very obvious where the little push button is, so you can grab that, push the doorbell, and then we will come out to greet you. I do ask that you please make sure that you don't let your children push it. We find that sometimes when that happens, they push it multiple times, it tends to potentially break. We've had that happen with other things. So if you can just push it once, it's not ringing a bunch of times in our building, that would be really appreciated. And then the other point of that is the sanitization. So please just be mindful of the fact that we're probably not going to be able to get out there and sanitize it between every use. We will sanitize it frequently, but it is also up to you guys to make sure that once you touch it, you're not touching your face and everything. So once you make it back to your car, sanitize your hands and then go about your business. So beyond that, once you ring the doorbell, like I said, a staff member will come out to greet you, and then it's going to be one at a time. They're going to do the participant screenings. Okay, so we'll get into those in a few minutes. They are that document 3 and 4 that I mentioned in the parent info package. So to talk about our PA days, I think most people that are in our before and after school program are probably also in our PA days, and they may be in our snow days as well. But some people may just be in the PA days and the snow days, but not in our before and after school program. So this is for you guys. So our PA days run for both our English and our French school boards. Okay, so we feed into a bunch of different schools, as you would have been told by Michelle and Chrissy, and we host the PA days for those. They do differ, so English and French have different PA days. Our English ones run at both the Southside Community Center and the Recreation Complex, whereas the French ones only run at the Recreation Complex, so just keep that in mind. Again, we broke it into just the one season, so there's only a couple in November. There's not that many in the first season here. There's not that many PA days. Timings. So the actual PA day program runs from 8:30 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. So if you're just registered for that, that's the time that you'll drop off at 8:30 and then you'll pick up at 4:15. And that's why the process isn't greatly different for the screening. But when you arrive, there will be a staff member there to greet you, and then they'll divide your kids out into the places they need to go in the building. So, if you're also in AM or PM extended care, in that 4th document, I told you to basically use the 3rd screening document. So it's gonna much be the same as a before and after school program, right? So our actual AM runs from 6:30 to 8:30. and then PM runs from 4:15 to 5. So if you are going to be using that extended care, please use that third screening document that was sent to you in the email. Ages again are 3 to 12, and then arrival and departure. So I kind of already just went over this, right? So there's a little bit difference between the ones using extended care and the ones not using extended care. And then finally, our snow days. So this snow day program is for bus cancellations. It only runs at the recreation complex because the recreation complex is where everybody has to bus. Down at the south side, only kindergarten kids bus. Obviously, it's kind of long for them to walk to school, but everybody else, and even some of our kindergartens, do just walk to school. So we walk to Valor, and we have a walk that goes to St. Francis. So when it's a bus cancellation, unfortunately for those kids, they still just get walked to school. So it actually works out, they go to school as long as the school is open. And then obviously the kindergarten kids that would normally go on the bus just walk. And we just go a little bit slower and we're a little bit more careful. So the snow day program, if you are in the before and after school program, you're probably in the snow day program and vice versa. So it's not very often that somebody is just in the snow day program. So when we talk about that, the snow day program again runs from 8:30 to 4:15, and BAS is the outlier from 6:30 to 8:30, and then 4:15 to 5. So if you're just in the snow day program, again, you're gonna follow that fourth health screening document that was sent in the email. But if you're in BAS, then you're just gonna follow the BAS one, right? Because they're obviously coming during the times of the before and after school program. All right. So the safety guidelines and protocols. So I just wanna go over a little bit about what we've put into place and just some of the things for you to know to make sure again that this is a seamless transition and process. So the education piece, we've increased our education for our staff, for you guys, for our participants across the board to make sure that everybody knows what they need to know. With our staff, we've done a very, very comprehensive document for them. So they know everything that they really need to know about our new protocols. They know the signs and the symptoms of COVID-19, even the most rare ones. They've been really trained on all those pieces from that document and have that to reference. But then we also are adding an in-person session. Then our parents and guardians. So this in particular, this video is one of those pieces of education for you guys. We want to make sure that we've upped that we're really keeping those lines of communication open with you, that screening little interview that you had with Chrissy or Michelle, that is all part of it. And then our participant education really starts with you guys at home. So I encourage you to have those conversations now with your kids. Talk to them about wearing masks. Talk to them about social distancing and what that means. And then when they come to our program, we will go through all the rules with them. We'll reiterate it through the program, but at least they'll have a basis to go off of. And then we hope eventually, because this program runs for a long period of time, that they will almost become second nature, those rules. Signage. So we've increased our signage around the building. So you're going to see lots of reminders, just like you would anywhere. You're going to see reminders to wear your mask. You're going to see reminders to socially distance, lots of hand hygiene, how to wash your hands, things actually inside the building that the kids are going to be seeing. Masking. So our protocol is that when we're inside, everybody must be wearing a mask. I'm obviously not wearing a mask right now. I'm social distancing. This is just for the video. But otherwise, when I was walking around the building and setting up, I was wearing a mask. So we want to make sure that regardless of age, that we're trying to wear that mask. And we actually had pretty good success with our summer play sessions this year. We do understand that there are exceptions. We do understand that there are restrictions for it, but we're going to go with that model and we're going to reinforce wearing them as much as possible for our kids because we feel that that is the safest option. So please, like mentioned on the what to bring document, that second document, please bring them a mask. If they don't have it one day, we do have masks, the little medical blue ones on hand, but it is nice, and we noticed that throughout our summer program, for them to have their own mask to wear. So our modified drop-off and pickup, I'm not gonna harp on about this, guys, because you do have the documents, and I really feel that the document 3 and 4 are very comprehensive about what you need to know. But we modified this to keep everybody safe, and we did the same for our staff, okay? So our staff come in, they do a screening, they do a questionnaire, and then they move into having their temperature taken, then they enter the building, they sign in. So there is a whole process there that we've put into place to make sure that we have our entrances as safe as possible into the building. Social distancing. So again, I asked you guys to social distance when you line up, but our kids also are going to be social distancing while they're in the program. We're going to be social distancing from them. Obviously within reason, there's times when kids forget, there's times where we need to break social distancing because there's a first aid emergency. So when those things happen, say we were outside and a child fell down and needed our help, we'd obviously go and help them, but we're gonna put our mask on, we're gonna put our gloves on, we're gonna have them put a mask on, gloves on, and try to keep everybody as safe as possible as we can. So then beyond that, our hygiene practices have been increased. I mentioned the signs, how to wash your hands. We go through with the kids on how to wash your hands, how long you have to do it. And then we have lots of PPE, which is our masks, our gloves, everything that we need on hand to make sure that we're staying safe. We also have hand sanitizer stations to use as well. Reduced numbers. So we've reduced numbers. If you've come to our program beforehand, you would have known that our numbers up here used to be 30, numbers down at Southside used to be 40, and now they're reduced quite a bit. So we've done that again to keep everyone safe. Up at the recreation complex here, the kids will be divided out into 2 different rooms. We have that luxury here, so they'll either be in the bass room, which is the playroom just down at the end of the hallway, or they'll be in the aerobics room, which is directly beside it, and they are linked by one room in between, the kitchen in between. So it's set up very well for this. Down at the Southside Community Center, we're only using one room, and that is the bathroom right on the left when you walk into the building. That again is a shared facility, so we need to be a little bit careful there with what rooms we're using. We'll use the gym as well, just like up here, to get that physical activity in. We want to make sure to get the kids, hearts pumping and get that energy out. But again, down there, we just need to be mindful that there's other people in the building. So we'll just be using that one room, and that's why we've reduced our numbers, to make sure that everybody can stay separate and do so comfortably. Our cleaning practices are increased. We have cleaning documents, specific ones. We do opening, closing, weekly. So just to really make sure that all the surfaces are cleaned, cleaning happens throughout the program. Our staff are trained on that. And then if a participant or staff becomes ill, so I did want to highlight this because it is pretty much inevitable with kids. And I do recognize that pretty much that list of symptoms for COVID-19 is pretty much covering everything that could happen, from pink eye to an upset stomach to a rash. It is a lot, and I understand that. And I understand that it can be frustrating because oftentimes we're like, it's probably not anything that we have to be worried about, but we are going to be as stringent, as strict as possible. We have to be as an organization. So if a staff member or a participant becomes ill during the program, we need to obviously know about that, and then we go through our protocols. So as a manager, my manager, we make sure that we're going through all of those steps to keep everybody as safe as possible. That could include a program closure, a facility closure, and it might not. So if you've looked at what the government's put out for schools, it's kind of on a case-by-case basis. They might just tell everybody to self-monitor. They might actually just close down that classroom or consider them high risk. So it really just depends on the circumstance. We're navigating through this, but again, we're going to err on the side of caution and be the most strict. But it doesn't always mean a program closure. And as questions come up, you can absolutely let us know and we can work through those. But we just ask that you are honest with us on that health screening, that you make sure to let us know in the questionnaire if your child is experiencing any symptoms, anything like that. So that is where the excitations come in for open and honest communication, right? We want to make sure that we have a really good line of communication with you guys, that, and we've already started to develop that with the little bit more personal registration process rather than just having you guys register online. So we've started those conversations and we want to keep those going, right? Not just about COVID. We don't want it all to be about COVID, right? We want to talk to you about how your child is doing in the program, if there's any areas that we can work on, what we want to celebrate that they're doing well. So we really want to keep that going and we want to get it back from you too, right? If anything is going on, if you have any questions, please just let us know. We also emphasize that we all need to do our part to keep everybody safe, and that includes you guys. So we just want to make sure that everybody is being as vigilant as possible and taking symptoms seriously and taking the protocols that we've put in place seriously. So that does include at and outside of the program. So an example that I wanted to give you is if, say, you come to the before and after school program, but you don't come to the after school program. Your child comes, their temperature is good, they're not experiencing any symptoms, and then they go off to school and they start experiencing symptoms. That is where we need that open and honest communication, and we urge you to tell us. We urge you to, even though they may not be returning back to the program for a few days depending on what you're doing, you just let us know, hey, Timmy is feeling a little ill today, here's a symptom, and since he was in our program, right? So we just ask that as a courtesy. And then obviously preparing your children starting today. So we want to make sure, I already said this, but start having those conversations with them about what they're going to expect in the program, right? If they came to the summer play sessions, great, they've already got a taste of what we're going to be doing, but just start that education now. Review and complete the 2-step screening prior to coming to our program. So I'm just going to run through this a little bit more thoroughly. So in those documents, you have the first step. The first step is doing the online survey. You may have done it if you had to go on base over the last couple of months. It's a survey you move through, you do it on your phone, and then at the end you take a screenshot. You're going to do that survey once a week for the program. So say you come to the before and after school program and you're coming on the 8th of September. You're going to do it that day and you're going to show us that screenshot. For the rest of the week, we're going to ask if any of your answers for the screening have changed. If they haven't, great, you won't do another screening. If they have, you'll have to do another screening. Following week, you will do a new screening after the weekend for the participant or participants. And we'll ask you again to see that screenshot. If you are in the before and after school program, we are only going to require the screening in the morning. The assumption is that obviously once they get to school, then they're being monitored throughout the day. They come back to us, we'll ask them a few questions on how they're feeling, but we don't need to see that screening again that particular day. If they're only in the after school program, that's where it gets a little bit trickier because we're not going to see you guys until you come and pick up your child. So that is where our supervisors are going to reach out to you and ask you to submit the screening, the screenshot online through email to them. Okay, so you're going to send the screenshot picture to them on the email and they'll be like, okay, good to go. That child can come to the program in the afternoon. Regardless of when the child arrives to the program, whether it's the morning or the afternoon, we will always take their temperature. And like I said again, prepare your kids to not be scared of us asking a few questions on how they're feeling, because we will be doing that as we go. So those are kind of the 2 steps. The second step there is when you actually arrive to the program, go through all those steps, and then we admit them to the program. The last thing I ask is that you guys are reachable by phone when and if needed. So I know that it's not always realistic. Sometimes you're out in the fields or you're busy, but please try to have your cell phone with you, or whatever phone it is that you gave us the number of. Make sure to be by that while your child is at the program. If something happens, if they were to become ill, we would need to get a hold of you, and otherwise we should be able to get a hold of you as well as an emergency contact if anything does come up. So that wraps everything up. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, of course you can reach out to who you've already been communicating with. So you've been emailing with either Christina Slaney or Michelle DeRoche. Absolutely, you can talk to them. You can also always email us if you're not sure who to direct the question at. You can email us at our general email, recplex@forces.gc.ca, and then that will get sent to the correct person, and we would be happy to answer any of your questions. Okay? So that is it for me. We are so excited for you guys to come to our programs. If you're coming on the 8th, to before and after school, we are so excited for you to be going back to school and to get everything running. So we will see you then, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.